Hello, and welcome back to Your Fertility Counselor, the podcast where we talk openly about emotional, psychological, and personal sides of the fertility journey, and a space where no one has to feel alone. Today's episode is a very, very special one for me personally because I'm joined by someone who has been a true pioneer in the field of fertility support. My guest today is Nadine Ballmer, founder of Kinderwunsch coaching and fertility coaching in Switzerland and abroad, and one of the early trailblazers who recognized that fertility challenges are not only a medical journey, they are deeply emotional and mental experiences as well. Already back in 2010, when very few people were speaking about the psychological dimension of infertility, Nadine began supporting individuals and couples through fertility coaching. Her work has helped countless people navigate the complex emotions that can arise when the dream of having a child meets uncertainty, medical treatment, and sometimes loss. Over the years, Nadine has continued to evolve her work and has specialized further as a mental trainer, helping both individuals and professionals develop the mental tools needed to build resilience, strengthen emotional well-being, and approach life's challenges with greater clarity and confidence. Today, she also trains professionals in these powerful mental training techniques, enabling them to use these skills both for themselves and in their work with clients. In today's conversation, we'll talk about the early beginnings of fertility coaching, how the field has evolved over the years, and why mental strength and emotional support are such important pillars when navigating a fertility journey. Make yourself comfortable and let's get started. A very warm welcome to you, Nadine. I couldn't be more happy today to have you here in our podcast show.
Thank you for having me. We've been looking forward to this day for months, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So I'm so grateful that you're taking your time today. I'm really looking forward to our conversation because I know it will be inspirational. It will be so heartfelt, deep conversation. But before we start, I wanted to ask you a question that I ask every single guest that comes into the show. What is your favorite morning ritual that you are doing, Nadine? I'm really curious to know.
Yes. So it's a really good and funny question because I thought I have my perfect morning ritual until I started my education at the University of St. Gallen. I did the life design coach there. And then the first exercise was that we think about our morning ritual. And then I thought, well, that's an easy one. I have it and I know exactly how it has to be. But when going through it step by step, I saw, okay, it depends if I have the kids in the morning or if I don't have the kids in the morning, if I have to travel or if I'm home or if I'm stressed because I have early meetings. And then I went through it again. And it turned out that for me, the basic thing that has to happen is that I have 5 to 10 minutes all for myself to reflect on something. And it doesn't even matter what it is, what question. I worked with the 5 minute journal, I worked with different questions. I usually have like an inspiration. It can be a question or it can be a theme or whatever, but I have to have those 5 to 10 minutes. And that was quite an interesting journey the last few months because in life design, you do a lot of prototyping and like to go through that and to figure out what it really is that makes my day. And those 5 to 10 minutes are possible if I'm even if the kids are here. I can't meditate if I have three kids around, but I can do those 5 to 10 minutes. And I even can like ask them, hey, I'm thinking about this or that question. What is your view about that? And it helps them as well. So yeah, so that's one thing. And of course, if I have more time, and usually that happens in bed with a coffee.
Oh,
And so, yeah, it has to happen in bed. That's maybe an interesting side thing. Yeah, and of course, yeah, I try to avoid like news in the morning. I never go to like the news, or I never read the news. I try to avoid social media because I'm a big believer that what you feel or that you bring into your brain in the early morning, that it has an effect of on your day. So that's what I avoid. And if I have time, and that's approximately 5 times a week, I do sports in the morning, and or I get fresh air and light in early in the morning. So.
oh, wow. This sounds really amazing. Thank you for sharing. And I think it's so inspirational that you're talking about life design and prototyping and really finding out what really nurtures you, because it seems to me that you really found now what nurtures you and how to kickstart your day. This is truly amazing. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for asking.
So I know you have been a pioneer, and especially in 2010, I remember us meeting and you actually brainstorming around a business idea and what else to do next in your life. And this is when you actually took a leap into fertility coaching. So I'm really wondering, like, what did you see back then that was missing that you felt so strong to actually build fertility coaching?
Mhm, mhm. I really saw a lot of women suffering, and including me. I'll also tell this story. And I saw that they have a lot of medical assistance and everything was set up, but there was no mental or psychological assistance or support during this time. And it actually started with my own story. I had two miscarriages back then. And then my doctor, I asked her, what can you recommend? What can I do? And then she said, well, we'll wait for the third miscarriage until we do any tests. And maybe you can do a bit of acupuncture, but just relax and lay down and relax a bit. So, and for me, it was quite shocking because I mean, I was one of hundreds of women
Mm.
were probably faced with this issue and this situation. And that was really, yeah, the starting point where I said, okay, no, no, that's that's not possible. And I started looking for support. And there was, of course, the psychological support. But then I thought, okay, but I'm not sick. I'm healthy. I just have this issue and I need a bit of support. And I saw that there's nothing around. So that's how everything started, actually. And it started really hands-on with the knowledge I had back then. I didn't have any education in hypnosis, NLP, and so on, what I have now. And I really started, there was no education at all in fertility coaching. It was in the US and maybe in the UK. And so I just started. And I think that was my luck to be so young, because now I would probably think more about, "Oh, can I do it or not? And is it professional enough?" But back then I just thought, okay, nothing bad can happen, just good things can happen. I just started. And yeah, it obviously worked out. So
Yeah, and luckily you did. Luckily you did, because we are referring you really as the mom of fertility coaching. I mean, you established fertility coaching, which is called Kinderwunsch coaching in Switzerland. But not only in Switzerland, you also built fertility coaching outside of Switzerland, which is truly, truly amazing. Yes.
yeah, thank
So
you.
you
With
were
you
just,
in Singapore, I have
yeah,
to say.
exactly.
I've
And that's
heard it
how
on
we
your
met.
story.
And we continued the journey actually together for all these years. Yes. So when you started with bringing in the mental and the emotional aspect, and I don't know whether you reached out right away out to the doctors, but did you face any skepticism from medical professionals back then, or how was it then in 2010?
Of course, a lot. And I still do. I'm honest. Back then, I mean, I was the first one doing things like that, and still, and also back then, a lot of doctors said, "Well, I mean, stress is not connected with fertility. We do our thing, and this works, and we do IVF, and stress has no influence at all." And there are still doctors who say this today. So I still have a lot of skepsis. But also, a very important moment for me was that one doctor called me and he said, I talked to this and this and this woman. He didn't say any names, but I see that they're doing differently than the other ones. And they're all with you in your coaching. And that was for me really a moment where I saw, okay, it's working. Because before, I didn't really know. I didn't have studies or things like that. And that was really a moment where I saw, okay, I have to do it. So yeah.
Wow.
Meanwhile, of course, there is a lot more fertility coaching, Kinderwunsch coaching here in Switzerland. A lot of people do it. Yeah, but there are still skepsis, and I think it's good. I mean, I don't see it
Yes.
negative. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think that's the right way on how to work with it because that's your offer and that's the services that we can offer and support. And I think those people that know about the benefits or want to know more about the benefits, they automatically reach out to you or to anyone working in this field, right? So this is how I feel about it as well. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I know that in that journey of pioneering fertility coaching, there must have been probably a moment for you where you felt like this is it, this is now really needed, and you knew it. Can you
Mhm.
maybe share more about that light bulb moment where you said like, I need to do something about this?
Yeah. It was actually my first client I had. I did autogenic training before, I did stress management before, and I did something proper before. I studied economics, and everyone wanted to have me in this field and to keep me in this field. And then I started with hypnobirthing, what was quite, oh my God, what you're doing here. And then out of that, I had my first client in fertility coaching because she was a friend of a hypnobirthing client. And she said, if it's working for hypnobirthing, couldn't it also work for fertility issues? And I was really, you couldn't believe. I had my first office then, no proper equipment. I did these classes. And then I said, well, nothing bad can happen. Let's do it. And I put the yoga mat on the floor and I took my techniques I had back then and I just adapted those techniques with her. And she didn't manage to receive a baby for 8 years with IVF and everything. She came for a couple of sessions, I don't remember how many, and she got pregnant within a few months. And I still can't say, is it like the coaching or is it what I did? But for me, it was a moment, okay, 8 years of trying to conceive. And then within 3 months, uh, she got
Wow.
pregnant. That was for me the game changer. And by the way, she got another two babies naturally
Really?
after that. Naturally
Oh, wow.
without support, and she was 8 years older. And then I really saw, oh my God, there must be something about that. Solving blockages,
Mhm.
fear release. I don't even know what we did. But then I started like looking for what is it? what makes the change in women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That was
remember
really
you so well because you were absolutely on fire. I remember that so well. But I'm sure it also took a lot of courage for you because you basically changed your whole profile from a, a professional that was in economics, as you said, and everyone recognized you in that field, and then transforming yourself so much and starting something new from scratch with a yoga mat in your place and with lots of ideas in your mind. And I'm sure you also probably had resistance internally, but also externally. Could you maybe share more about that resistance to establish fertility coaching? Like, what were you facing internally and externally?
Actually, internally, not so much because I was young, I was free, I didn't have kids. I kept my job at the University of St. Gallen, like it was part-time 50%. So I was like financially secure. And I think that was my luck to be so young and so fresh and
Mm.
not thinking about a lot of things. I think now um, I'm questioning a lot more. So internally, not so much, and maybe that's what you're now reflecting. I didn't, or I don't remember, but yes, now when you tell me, I was really on fire, and I think that helps a lot to be
Mm.
on fire and to have this. It was kind of a mission that I
Mm.
was probably. But externally, of course, I mean, how do you studied something proper? You're a market analyst. You did this for like 7 years, and now you just want to change, and you don't even know what comes. So, but I think the mission was just stronger than everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think once that fire got ignited, it just, you couldn't be stopped anymore, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's how I remember you.
And pure fun. When I look back,
Mm.
people ask, how much do you work actually? And
Mm.
I work for 16, 17 hours a day. But I always told everyone, I'm not really working. It's for me, it was just fun. It was, yeah, it was
Yes.
working. Uh,
Yes, yeah, exactly, exactly. And you were establishing everything, like the content of all these wonderful tools, which we will talk about it later.
mhm.
I was wondering, so if you go back to 2010, in terms of how clients have changed emotionally on the landscape of infertility, or looking at like, is it still the same actually?
Mm,
How has that evolved in your view? How have
mm.
clients changed emotionally in that landscape?
I think emotionally, not a lot has changed. I think clients still face the same issue as they did like 15 years ago because it's still hard to know do I ever, or not to know, do I ever get pregnant, to deal with all those emotions like fear and problems in the relationship, financially, when it comes to IVF and so on. I think the emotions are still the same, but they're handled differently. Now, with this taboo that's opening up a bit, back then it was a big, is it in English taboo as well? Taboo?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. With this taboo, at least in Switzerland, and I think in the whole German-speaking part, it's you don't talk about miscarriages, you don't talk about not being able to get pregnant. So that put a lot more pressures on the couples. And now with social media, I think a lot has changed. When
Mm.
we Asia, I don't know how it is in Asia, but at least in the US, you have Instagram channels, you have Facebook groups, and people are talking about this not getting pregnant or undergoing IVF and so on. And I think that helps a lot. So women feel less alone. And
Yes.
that takes a lot of pressure. So that's the big thing that I see that's changing or that changed the last few years. But
Yes, yes,
emotionally, it's
yeah,
still
I
the
totally agree with that. Yeah, I think emotionally, like facing the fear of uncertainty, and all these things are exactly the same, I could say as well. But what you say as well is the taboo has been um, lesser than 12 or 14 years ago. Oh, well, 2010, 16 years ago. My goodness.
Mhm.
16 years. Yes. I also feel that women might be more educated because there is more available information on the net now, and with ChatGPT as well, with AI
Mhm.
usage as well. I feel that these are additional tools that were not around. Whether it actually helps to de-stress or increases stress, I'm not too sure, to put it that way.
Yeah.
I always feel that information or knowledge is power. But
Mhm.
having too much knowledge can also sometimes stand in the way. For
Mhm.
those women that are too brainy, I call them too brainy, meaning that they almost gained a PhD in infertility and they come with these incredible research papers to the doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would say not knowing every single detail can be bliss as well.
Definitely, definitely. And when we know how ChatGPT works, he's always asking you another question. So, do you need more information on that? And can I help you on this? And I think women can deep dive into the topic, what can be good to a certain point. But as you just mentioned, um, they can be in this or working with this tool all night long and don't get out anymore and don't get the distance anymore. So that's really, yeah, the danger I see there.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
also, I'm always checking like those AI if they really bring the right information, and often it's not. So
yeah.
that's
Yes, and this is such an important point that you raise here, Nadine, because I feel that so many women completely rely on Google and ChatGPT or whatever AI tools that they are using, and they completely forget about that their body is very unique and
Mhm.
is not comparable to all the thousands of other women out there. And it's kind of like sometimes also maybe not so good to go to put all the data in there and compare it because you wouldn't get the same information that could be really helpful to your
Mhm.
state if you go to see a doctor and have a
Yeah,
one-on-one.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
and also choosing the right clinic. I also
yes.
tested ChatGPT on that, and the
Mm,
result was really bad, as at least for Switzerland. So I
mm.
would have recommended for the same case other clinics
Yeah.
because no, okay, for this patient, they're just do a better work, a better job.
And we talked about that a lot, actually, that it's this magic match of client together with the right doctor and the right clinic.
Yeah,
And this is like where magic can happen, right? When they can let go because they can then fully trust the medical professionals that they are in good hands.
that's it. That's it. Yeah. And
Mm.
they get this relaxation that
Mm.
helps them to get pregnant, to just
Yeah,
trust, they're not, no, I mean, they can still question things, but this like basic trust that they need to have to
yeah,
get pregnant and to like live their femininity, what is like
yes.
relaxing, laying back and just
Mm.
conceive. It's really about
Yes.
uh,
It makes me feel relaxed just to see your movement. Yes. So something that I always admired about your trainings, and I was lucky enough to attend quite a few of them face to face as well as online, Nadine, was your ability to work on the mental mind, to work with the power of the mind. And ultimately, you actually took the next leap in your career to shift to become a mental trainer.
Yeah.
And as a mental trainer, I believe you work with professionals as well as private clients. Is that correct? Or maybe
What
you want to elaborate a little bit about your work as a mental trainer so that our listeners get to know you on that side as well.
Maybe I can tell you a bit how I started this. So when I had my first employees in, was it back in 2012, 2013, I did a lot of education for myself. And then I started to send them to all those educations. And then I saw, okay, well, they need a hypnosis education. Then they need a little bit of NLP. Then they need it's wing wave here in Switzerland
EMDR.
or MDR, yeah. They need that. They need coaching tools. They need tools how to talk to a client and so on. And that was actually the point where I saw, okay, I learned a lot in all those educations, but I only need like 20% of everything, of yeah, every single education. And then I turned this around and I said, okay, I'll do this mental training education and I take the best of everything, best of
Mm.
hypnosis, best of NLP, best of EMDR, best of coaching tools, and I just put everything in this education. That's how it started, and it started super slowly. We didn't even have our own website, but I started with small groups, and actually just now 2 3 years ago when we build an own website on that, because I had kids in between, so I had within 2.5 years I had 3 kids, so with small kids around, like I was 5 years, not really. I was into business, but I couldn't create new things. And then now they go to school, and I had more time. And then we created this website, and now it's, yeah, it's really flying. This
Yeah. So it's
education.
a big, big topic nowadays. So
Mhm.
if someone comes into one of your courses that you offer, what would they actually take away for themselves?
Mhm. Yeah, we have actually 3 groups. We have the
Mm.
one group that say, I want to do it just for myself. I want
Mm.
to develop. I mean, they need to be healthy. They need to be stable. It's not a therapy. It's not a coaching itself, but of course, they can take a lot for themselves. And that's how they often come. They say, hey, I want to do something just for myself. I want to learn the techniques. I want to learn like self-hypnosis, self-relaxation. I want to have tools like the charisma booster or whatever. So they take away a lot for themselves. And that's how it's built. It's really built on they do everything first in little groups in the education before they work with clients.
Mm.
It's really important for me that they live it before they give it to others. And then there is another group that says, okay, I want to really change my whole profession. I want to go into mental training. I had a guy who was short before retirement, and then he said, well, but I'm a golfer. I have my own company, but I don't want to do this like the next 10 years. I want to do mental training for golf. Um,
Wow.
yeah, he really said, okay, I'll change completely. I had a climber in the last education, and she was also still in business. So that's this part-time thing. She says, okay, I'll stay 50% in my business, but I want to go outdoors with my clients, and I see they have a lot of fears. So I want to take them climbing. So she's a climber herself, quite professional, and she takes the clients climbing, and she wants to
Oh,
use the mental tools. I had
wow.
a super young, now I'm much into sports, or there are a lot of sports, or people with sports background. I had a young football player. She was professional at 22, 23 years old. And she said, I could have done it like physically, but I didn't do it mentally. And I want
Mm.
to help young women to like get this mental strength. So
Oh,
that's just a few examples, and that makes me really excited. Or a physiotherapist, she works with runners, and she says, well, physiotherapy is nice, but I need something more. I had one physiotherapist, she works, but she does everything on arms and hands. And she says, well, the one thing is what we can do physically, but they have fear of working
mm.
with their hands again, and they don't trust the arms or the hands. No. And
Yes.
that's where it gets super interesting when people start to combine like their profession with mental health. Yeah.
Yes, and that is so inspiring to see that you actually can reach out to so many different professionals and they can actually really use these tools from your trainings to
Mhm.
complement and help their clients again. That
Yeah.
is an incredible ripple effect, isn't it? So amazing. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So I want to go quickly back to, clients that are more fertility related. And I
Mhm.
was wondering, in your experience, what's the deepest identity shift that you have seen people going through during their fertility journey?
It's really like personal development they go
Mm,
through. They don't see it as it when they start with the coaching. They come in and say, they don't even say, I want to get pregnant within the next 3 months. What they say when the first session, they say, I want to have my life back. I don't
mm,
life anymore. I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't eat cold food. I don't drink coffee anymore. And then after a few months in, they're so like exhausted of all the things they do for fertility and they don't do for fertility. So that's actually the first thing. I want my life back. And then we start to work, and they see, okay, if I relax more, my sleep gets better. A lot of women tell me, and we have mainly women, it's still a woman thing. I would say we have 90% women in fertility coaching. Um, and then they say, oh, my husband or my partner said I'm more relaxed. This obviously helps. And that's how they develop. And in the end, it's really a personal development. And that's what I'm so happy about. It's not just about getting pregnant and
mm.
make this baby. They do such a nice personal development. And I think that also, and I also tell them it will help you a lot once the baby's here, because all the problems a lot of couples are facing after the baby's here, you're facing before. So you can work together, you see how you work together, what's important, how to handle emotions, how to handle if you don't have enough sleep, and so on. um, I think it's just a big journey for
Yes.
life.
I truly believe in that as well. And I remember you mentioning in the training that under the umbrella of infertility, there is so much more. There
Yeah.
are so many topics that can
Mhm.
actually create those blockages, which you mentioned earlier on in our conversation, that can be about relationship, it can be about the career choice, it can be about whatever hobby, social, family related, whatever it is, to really be able to have the courage with the right support to face those struggles and to release that.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
and we
Exactly.
haven't even talked about childhood, which we both know how actually childhood trauma and experiences can actually impact and create incredible blockages when you're trying to conceive.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
So,
remember that's interesting when you started to work with clients in Singapore, that was a much bigger issue because
mm,
people have so in Asia and all the international people you had have so much more trauma than we have here in Switzerland. So that was
mm,
always impressing for me how you worked with those clients and how you
yes.
solved problems.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, even nowadays, if I feel like I have pretty much after being like in this field for almost 14 years now, I still see how there is still a lot of trauma-related blockages.
Hmm.
It's really incredible, even nowadays. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's something that just is a topic that is ongoing.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it's great to know that we can help these clients with releasing these blockages.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's that's a really good news,
Mhm.
so to say.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes. So I know that, you have been now in this field for so long. So if you look back at, all these years and you think like the ripple effect that you actually built with your company, with your idea that started off with a woman that was a friend of a hypnobirthing participant and luckily came to see you and ask you whether you could help her with conception. What would be your hope for fertility coaching in the medical world?
Well, the big hope, but it's not in my field, would be that young people get more educated about when they have their fertility peak and
Mm,
when fertility is dropping. And it's for women, it's all about age. It's all about age. And I know, and I also hope for young women that this doesn't change. I mean, we had this development of young women going to study, they make their career. That's what everything changed in the end because they study, they do their career, and then they at 35 they think about getting pregnant. And at 35, we all know that fertility is already dropping. And I don't hope that this changes. I hope for the women that they get educated, that they do their career, but that they have the information about when the fertility peak is, when the fertility starts dropping. And that's all about news and media, that they work on that to educate people. Because I remember so many discussions talking to 35 to 40 years old women and men, and they didn't realize what's happening. And they
mm,
said, "Well, we wait for the perfect moment. And now we have to first build our house. We have to first do that and then that." And because in the media, you see so many older women getting pregnant, they thought it's like, can
mm.
get easily pregnant at 40. So that's my big hope for the future, that the young women and men are educated on what's the good window to get pregnant in terms of age, what they can do, like uh, as a prevention, uh,
Mm.
smoking and things like that, all this health lifestyle, that they know about that, and that they're really prepared. I think it's about to be prepared physically and emotionally and mentally, so that it should be part of the education, right?
Yes, I completely agree. And it's striking actually how many young adults still don't know about it. It's really, really striking in a time where there is so much available on social media, in news, and everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. It's still a gap, and there is still a lot of work to do.
Mm.
And yeah, we are proud of this as well. And maybe we can actually do more about it, which actually just makes me think maybe I should actually do a show on an episode on education of fertility for
That would be great.
younger listeners. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
And it's still this romantic view of, hey, getting pregnant is so easy and so natural.
Mm,
It will just happen. And it has
mhm,
to do with movies and, yeah, what
mm.
they see. And I think like not having the taboo anymore, or that this is disappearing a bit, that helps as well. Because 10
Absolutely.
years ago, women did talk about miscarriages and it was all a very personal thing. And this opening up, and it's here when social media really helps because
Yeah.
get into contact with, maybe
Yes.
we need to think about that earlier. And
Yes. Yes,
process
that's right.
just happen.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Exactly. I think that's not the norm anymore
Mhm.
in many cases, actually. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, you're right. What belief about infertility do you most strongly challenge?
Um, strongly, I would say a lot of women think I will, or it could be that I will never have a baby. And I
Mm,
think I really challenge this belief. And what I often do with women is that I open up the whole, all the possibilities. That I say, okay, because they're sitting here, and the biggest fear is always, if I could tell them you're having a baby in 2 years' time, they would say, "Oh, perfect. Then I do
mm,
this and that." And but the biggest fear is always not ever being a mom.
mm.
That's what I often do, is that I show them all the opportunities and possibilities, how they can get pregnant, and that helps a lot. And then I say, okay, but the question is how far you want to go. We have a lot of possibilities nowadays with medicine, and also if the regulations in Switzerland are maybe a little too tight, you can go to another country. There are a lot of possibilities and opening up. I think like this idea of, hey, you can get a baby. There are different ways to get a baby.
Yes.
Being so stuck in this, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
can
know what
truly
I mean?
see.
It is.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the moment that shifts a lot is what you mentioned about, like the moment that you mentioned about, like, let's say you you will get pregnant in 2 years from now, or in even 1 year from now. All of a sudden you can see how that energy that got stuck is starting to flow again, and how women start to think, oh, well, if I know that I can get pregnant in a year from now, oh, I would stop doing this, I would do more of this. So they have this concept of what life looks like
Yeah, that's
on
it.
and how they want to live. It's more that what you said earlier on as well, life is put on hold so many times when they are trying to conceive, because they feel like my list of don'ts is a really long one and I can only do these few things.
Yeah,
Which actually, you and I, we have been talking about this a lot, is the list of do's is a long one and the list of don'ts is a really small one.
definitely, definitely.
And there
And
is lots of myths as well.
yeah, yeah. And
So,
I use this as an exercise in coaching, that I say, okay, let's deep dive into this thought of you're getting pregnant in 1 or 2 years. What you would
mm,
do differently? And then
yes.
opening up. And then we really work on those things. And then I said, okay, why don't you do this now?
Yeah.
If you would do it, if you knew you would be pregnant in a year or two, so let's do it now. And then they start changing their lives and they get such a different energy back again.
Yes. 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 You're right. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I was wondering, looking at where you are now today with hypnobirthing, Kinderwunsch coaching, as well as your mental training offering, and looking at who you were in 2010, what would you tell your 2010 self today?
Don't think too much about what others think. It's what I often did. I thought, can I do that? What do others think? Is it right? Is it professional enough? Yeah, just do it. I mean, I did it, but still, there's a lot more potential.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And also something maybe to embrace now as well, right? On your continuing path.
Oh,
Because
yes.
I feel that we so often get influenced by social norms and with whom we spend time and expectations of other people. And you critically ask yourself, can I really do that? Sure. Isn't it?
That's, by the way, also a nice question that comes from the life design coaching. What would you do if money and those social norms wouldn't be a topic?
Wow. Yeah.
It's an amazing question because
Yes.
we limit ourselves by money and
Mhm.
social norms. And
Hmm.
just think about that. It's amazing.
Opens up so many possibilities all of a sudden, isn't it?
Definitely, yes.
Wow. Wow. So I can only wish you even more possibilities opening up for you.
Thank you so
We
much.
come to the end of today's episode. So inspiring. Thank you so, so much for your time. Before we do the closing, though, I would love to get one more response on one of the questions I ask every guest as well. If you, and I know you are a very busy woman, but if you had an entire day to yourself, no responsibilities, just feeling free, how would you spend that day?
I'm really lucky that I have those days, and it wouldn't be much different that I often do. So I would lay in bed in the morning, having my coffee, having my 5 to 10 minutes. I would go outside. It would have to be summer. I would do sports, and then yeah, I probably would go to the boat out on the lake, having dinner, barbecue with friends, be together with close friends. Nothing so special, but for me, that's special. That's the freedom.
I just want to say the special is really your freedom that you have. It's
Mhm.
probably the freedom that you have in that moment, right?
Definitely. And be together
Amazing.
with family and friends. So.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Well, thank you so, so much for taking the time today, Nadine. I really appreciate you having you here in this episode. We were planning for this for a very long time, and finally we made it happen.
Thank you so much, Tanya, for having me. We've got a long journey together, and it's always just so nice talking to you and especially talking about those fertility topics.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. As we come to an end of today's episode, I hope this conversation with Nadine Ballmer has given you a deeper appreciation for how important emotional and mental support is during a fertility journey. Long before it became more widely recognized, Nadine already saw that infertility is not only a medical experience, it is also a deeply personal and emotional one. Her work in fertility coaching has helped many individuals and couples navigate uncertainty, strengthen their inner resilience, and reconnect with their sense of hope and self-trust along the way. Over the years, she has continued to expand this work through her training as a mental trainer, helping professionals and individuals develop powerful tools to support themselves and others through challenging life experience. If you'd like to learn more about Nadine's work, her fertility coaching approach, or her mental training programs, you can visit her website at www.kinderwunsch.coaching.ch. So today was really riding again on Women's International Day. I know it is the month of March. We are talking about pioneering, about courage, evolution, shift, identity and transformation, as well as building legacy. So if today's episode resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone who might benefit from hearing this conversation or who is simply important to you. Thank you for listening to Your Fertility Counselor. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself. And remember, whatever stage of the journey you are on, you don't have to go through this alone. We are here for you. Thank you and take care. See you next week.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Fertility Counselor podcast. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. If you need support or have any questions, reach out to us via email at inquiries@counselingconnects.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Fertility Connects. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to learn more about us and the services we offer, head to www.fertilityconnects.com. And if you're looking for support beyond fertility, visit www.counselingconnects.com. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.